Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to the Jersey Crew Fantasy Football Podcast, and let's talk about some fantasy football. I'm ready to talk about some fantasy football. Had a really good week. Got a crazy W that we will get into, and just in general, some of the pools and other fantasy leagues and other ventures that I'm a part of just had a great week and didn't even put any extra study or extra research into it. Just turned out to have a really, really good fantasy week. So excited to talk about it on our end, my end, and then your end too. You got another W in Jersey Crew. But for week 10, how did you do elsewhere in your fantasy land?
I swept.
Wow.
Yeah, I should be careful. So again, I joined that one league late. I took over an orphaned team.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm kind of counting that, but not really. So I did lose in that. The players they left me with are not good, but it's just fun. I'm just doing it for fun. Other than that, I went 4-0.
Wow, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, not bad here. So quick recap. So 9-1.
Okay.
7-3, 7-3, and then 6-4.
In the third spot too for the Diabolical Dart in our co-managed league and sleeper, number 3 overall. I believe that's a 12-team league as well. So unbelievable. What are you thinking? We were just talking about it off air before we went on, and we said we do have Flacco, and I just got a news flash today about Burrow coming back possibly week 13. But overall, how do you feel about our team being able to make it into playoffs now, but also to make it through into the championship? What do you think? What do you think our probability is on our team for Diabolical Dart?
Well, it means a lot more now because of our guy who went down on Sunday with the concussion. Not that he's done for the season, but with Dart going down,
I know
we gotta play for him. So that's number one. Number two, it's kind of amazing. You go through our team. So we have our starting lineups in that league are big. I think we have 3 flexes.
Right.
Is that right? Right.
We have a super flex. Yeah.
Super flex and 3 flexes.
Yep.
And then no kicker, no defense, which is great. But it's just a big line. And as you go down that lineup, I'm not kidding. Like, we got some serious players. When you start off with Drake May and Devon Achane.
Yeah. Especially last week.
Right. Like,
it was one of those weeks.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, playoffs are looking like a definite, and I really hope I'm not wrong. I think there's a really good chance we get in, maybe not as the 3 seed, but as you know, at least in the playoffs. And honestly, isn't that all we're shooting for?
Oh yeah, especially for us, man. We've been at the bottom of the barrel with our co-managed teams recently, and we started that way with this one, and it's just taken off. Like you said, Drake May, Achane, and this was one of the weeks that you ever have those teams that every player you see score a touchdown, you're like, oh, yep, that's on that team. You know, oh, yep, that's on. It was like that. We had Algier. Did he score 2 touchdowns?
2 touchdowns.
We had him in the starting lineup. We had Pierce. I believe he scored a touchdown.
Yep.
Dunze, he had a touchdown. Dobbs flopped. Trey McBride, 48 points in this with a touchdown. Devontae Smith with a touchdown. Did you see his catch on his head? I was watching that game, of course.
Yeah.
When we get into my game. And then Goddard, I don't think he had a touchdown, but he played well. And then Fields and Flacco, like, if we had good quarterbacks, we'd probably be number 1 in the league right now. But and we have Drake May, so I should scratch that. If we had a good second quarterback for our super flex, I mean, we might go into the playoffs playing, a wide receiver or a running back in that position, maybe even a tight end. But unless Flacco stays, because I think he's our only other hope there. Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting to see. Happy about it. 6-4, third spot there for our co-managed team. So happy with that. You said you went 4-0 in your other leagues. Just amazing. All probably making playoffs, right? Most likely.
It'd be pretty tough to see how I would fall out. And I actually just checked. I was wrong about the other 7-3. I'm 8-2.
Wow.
The first for that. So I don't think I'm expressing how good a year this really is, because 1 loss in Jersey Crew feels like 10 losses across other leagues.
So true.
So true. But it's like I started adding up the pots, not the winnings. I want to be careful, right? I just started adding up the pots of all the leagues to say, if I went and won 4 championships, possible. I'm not saying probable, but possible. I mean, what a year that would be. So yeah, I'm feeling good. And you're saying right before we get on here that like you should kind of feel the same exact way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't add them all up because I'd probably lose my mind because those were pretty big pots for those leagues.
Yeah.
I could possibly make 7 playoffs with Jersey Crew being the last one. I said I'm going to make playoffs. I just came and had a crazy win. Feel a lot better if I came in with a loss. Like I had such a great week, and I want to go over some of the stuff, but I had such a great week, and if I lost that game, it wouldn't have felt the same. You know, like it's just so crazy the weight Jersey Crew carries, especially on the anniversary season. But I wouldn't have felt the same. That pushed it over. That was the icing on the cake. I had a great week. Then I get that win. Guess how much of the game I watched for that Eagles Green Bay for the sweat?
Oh, that's a great question because okay, I'm going to assume you thought you were going to lose because like he's got a quarterback, and so I'm going to say at first it's like, well, none. The other side of me wants to say like you watched every minute because you're a fanatic. I'm going to say every minute.
Yeah, every single minute. Wow, I didn't know if you knew because we were texting back and forth. I was like the whole time, I'm like, this is not possible.
Right.
This is not.
He's going to throw a touchdown any second. Like
the only thing he needed to do was score a touchdown. He just threw as least amount of yards as possible. The touchdowns they scored were always on the ground. Every throw, and then what really helped was the fumble. Fumble is -2 points. So without that fumble, Gangrene wins there. Yep. Every time he threw the ball, I'm like, he's picking up a chunk. He just needs a couple more of these. And it was just never enough. I've never sweated, like almost reverse sweated, where I'm ahead and I don't have anything to do with the game and cheering.
Yeah.
But other than, hoping that he breaks his ankle every sack that he took, that was awful, right? You don't want to hope for that.
Yeah.
I'm just like looking at his ankle, like squinting my eyes, come on, roll up on it. But
I mean, you're only human.
I know. So couldn't get it done somehow, some way, even with playing, awful, but decent towards the end. I'm like, I swear I'm going to stay up for every second of this game. And I did. But I swear, if it happened in the last 30 seconds of the game, if he went ahead, I would have lost my noggin. So got a win there, which just makes everything else feel so much better. But the week was just incredible. I went 6-1, so only lost one of those leagues, and just playing really well. I have 3 7-3 teams, 3 6-4 teams, and then my Jersey Crew team. Possibly, if we can get Jersey Crew in there to the playoffs, we could go 7 for 7, making the playoffs. And you know what? I wouldn't want to be number 3 in this league if I make the playoffs. Because you know what? I'm making the semis. I'm just saying it right now. I'm just saying.
Great.
I wouldn't want to be number 3 because we got bye weeks for number 1 and 2. You're lucky because number 3 is going to have to take on me if I sneak in there and win a couple more. And as we talk about this and we go over all the fantasy stuff, we got 4 weeks remaining. 4 weeks. How does that feel for you?
We're in week 11. I saw on the Footballers podcast today, it said week 11 waivers. And I was like, that's insane. We're in double digits. We're past double digits now. So, and the weather's changing.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling it in the air a little bit. And which just means that the Thanksgiving test is approaching us, right?
Yep.
We started this first year of the podcast, right? We said like, how am I?
Because you were 0-11 at that time, right? Over 0-12.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, it was anti how I was doing, but yeah. So look, you could be 6-6 at the time, right? Two more weekends, or it'd be 7-6. But anyway, so. It's still possible that test could still come true for you. That means we're getting closer to Christmas, which we just figured out. The championship is on like Christmas, like weekend past Christmas, and I mean we're here, and I just at this point in the year, as good thoughts of holidays and spreading cheer are upon me. I just want to spread some cheer on Groovy Q and the work that he's still putting in. And I know we're going to talk about some things, but just a quick like early part of the episode shout out to. The never giving up. Sarah was doing this earlier this year, right? Where she was pretty down. Also, Pack Attack.
Yeah.
Is still picking
37
up
moves.
37. Like this is Jersey Crew is so special. It's amazing. And I love seeing the activity even when people are down and out, and you never know. Like Q, you go 4 games in a row and you're 7-7. You don't know this year, right?
Yeah. Who
But
knows?
anyway, go ahead.
Well, I'm happy that Q is active and trading some players away because I definitely made out this week. I don't know about overall, but this week I made out, and I want to look at my game and say, all right, what would have happened if I didn't make that trade, or didn't accept the trade? I didn't make it; it came out of nowhere. It was like a little Christmas gift early. You know what I mean? Like, wasn't sure if I wanted to open it. You know, I even told him I didn't want to open it. He's like, you know what? There's that stack though with Zay and Lamar. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll open it. I'm ripping open the present. I'm like, wow, I just made out pretty well over that first week. So we'll go over that. But before we jump into the Jersey Crew, so 6-1 in the fantasy leagues. Happy about that. I love what we talk about with Thanksgiving coming up, that self-assessment to say, hey, am I happy? Am I not? So far in fantasy on those leagues, very, very happy with that. Best ball, we're at advance rate of 29%, so above average. Happy to see that. DFS. So again, first place. So the second first place of this year, again, that's the weekly lineups that I create, came in first place with 197 points, which is very high.
Yeah.
8 out of those 10 weeks so far I've cashed. Season overall number 1, with like a 20-point lead or something like that. Pick 5 won my second pot of the year. The first year I've done this, maybe 4 years now, maybe 5. This is the first year of the pick 5 pool that I've won 2 pots. This current one was a split pot, but it was a rollover. So it was 740. So we split it. So it was, 370 each. So happy about that. That one, because obviously I won 2 of those pots already at 5-0. That one in the season rank, I'm number 1 with a 2-win lead over number 2. So I have 32 correct picks so far out of 50, and the next highest has 30. So number 1 in that pays out as well for number 1. And then pick 6, I went 5-1. So I did not win the pot, but went 5-1, and there was another rollover, so no one won the pot, and that one I'm doing pretty well in. Then we got Survivor, and this is just insane. Every single pool that I'm in is under 8% of the field left. The CBS 25 won 11K up top for that. 22 entries left. I have 1. The High Roller, 6 entries left. Let's go. High Roller 8K on at top. 6 guys left. I'm one of them. And then the Splash 20, the normal Jake one that we always do. 18 guys left. People left with a 4K at top. So still 1 entry alive in those. So I looked at it, I'm like, so I made, including Survivor, pick 6, and pick 5, I made 14 selections, and I got 13 correct.
Yeah, that's a good year. That's a good year.
And then you look at fantasy, and it's like, well, I did 7 games. I won, 7 games. I won 6 of them. So, and then DFS. Then you're like, oh, well, I just put a lineup in with the guys, 13 of us. I won first. All in the same week.
Yeah, this is where it's no coincidence, and it's good that you're doing these other things and showing this. This is so hard to do, and I think obviously the people who are listening to this podcast understand this, but if I was trying to explain to somebody how hard it was to pick 13 correct winners, right, for the week of just head-to-head matchups, that's insane. It's so hard to do in the NFL.
Yeah, and some of them are, wins. Some of them are spreads. The pick 5 pool is all spreads. Some of them are, 2 of those picks are actually college. So just a vast variety, and I was still able just to come away and cash. Both of those pools, pick 5 pool and the DFS, I've already profited over the first 10 weeks. So I already made money on the first 10 weeks. Now everything else is just extra. So that's really nice too, that, you don't feel like you're just throwing something into the garbage and you're just waiting. So good week. Really happy to talk about, fantasy in general after that week, but especially because I am coming off of a win against Gangrene and Jersey Crew by 0.6. Literally, that's it. So unbelievable. Just a lot of fun looking over it now, looking at the rankings, moving into 7th overall for the rankings, looking at, the right teams losing to Champ. Takes a loss last week. Coyotes takes a loss last week. So staying in that hunt for the 6th spot, and excited to talk about my game. And then you got to win. I mean, I know you said it was a little ugly, but it was still 127 points. Yeah. You didn't play a team that really put up a lot of points, so you probably felt confident. But, how do you feel about your Jersey Crew team after your win in week 10?
I feel good. I needed a win. I needed to get back in the win column there after it was two losses in a row, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was Gangrene and Giants and Cowboys, and so it it felt good in that respect for sure. Sorry, it was Giants and Cowboys and Coyotes, but there's not a lot of layups just because all of a sudden like Pack-a-Tech could have a good game or Coyotes rips off a couple, right? Groovy Q, like any of these teams that you're maybe not expecting can have a great game, and so that did feel good, right? I won where I was supposed to win. That's what good teams are supposed to do. I just it's driving me crazy the way that Bijan is playing. And I know last game he had 20 points, but like this game, not only did he score a few points, but I watched most of that game, which was really fun at 9:30 in the morning. But it was more fun because I had Jonathan Taylor on the other side, who was just amazing. Again, like an absolute monster.
Couldn't beat me though. Couldn't beat me. I thought the game was over after JT went off.
I know.
Not me.
I know. It's crazy. And it's so frustrating because then Allgeier gets 2 touchdowns, which honestly, I'm glad we started him because then at least I felt okay about that. I was like, all right, well, Bijan's not getting it, but Allgeier is, and that did help us. But
what's going on there? What's your take on his lack of production over the last few weeks?
I don't know. Atlanta is very frustrating to watch. I'm finding out because I'm pretty sure that they're losing these games too. So it's not as if let's see, like they definitely lost last game. And Allgeier gets you 2 touchdowns, yes. But is there something to say about what if they fed Bijan more or like left him in where they're giving it to Allgeier and Atlanta could be even better and actually like win the game? Do you know what I'm saying? Like
I wonder.
I know Allgeier's scoring, but they've lost the last 4 games in a row. And during those games, like Bijan only had 9 attempts 2-3 games ago when they lost to Miami. 17 attempts this week, so that's very normal for him. But I don't know. It just is like really confusing.
Yeah, no, it is. I agree. That's interesting to see. JT's going off. That was interesting to see. I want to bring that game up real quick before we get into some of the trades. Let me see if I can bring our game up. So that, again, just an absolutely crazy game. I had Lamar Jackson. I made the trade for Zay Flowers, so I brought him onto the team right before this week. Emeka Egbuka played well. Jaylen Warren played well. And then Gibbs went insane. The only reason I was able to fight off that crazy game by Jonathan Taylor was because of Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor goes out and scores 49 points in our league. You know how hard that is to do? Right. That is so hard. And then Gibbs goes out and scores 38. And then Trayvon Henderson, I don't even know who this guy is. I was fading him all year. I just, he's a part of a package that, I ripped open and got lucky. And he scores 28 points. And I was like, I wasn't even sure if I was going to start him, to be honest.
I can't believe you did.
Yeah. I started him in a couple leagues too, dude. Wow. I had him in another league, maybe literally 2, this being one of them. And he went off. So, and I actually ended up playing him DFS with my win in the weekly. Yeah.
DFS.
So because it was a lower salary for him. Yeah. So yeah, just really like my team. I sent out a kind of a joke, but not a joke after I made the trade, and I looked at it, I'm like, this is like a sexy team, man. You're projected like 147 last week. I'm projected 146 this week. We got Lamar and the Zay stack. We got Egbuka, who we love. We got rid of Tet. We weren't feeling Tet anyway, so it's not a huge deal. Wow. I thought he was going to blow up a little bit, but he really hasn't yet. And I have him in other leagues, so I still have exposure to him. Gibbs looking great. Bowers. So I was able to score 152 points, and Bowers had 3 points. And Lamar had 18 points. So when you look at this, and again, we're not going to have the Gibbs and Henderson games that they had every single week, but when you look at this team, you know that I'm 4-6 fighting for a playoff spot. What comes to mind? What do you think is possible over the next 4 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's just like it's like the Bengals some years, or like teams like that you're just like, this roster's too good to have this record. Like and they got off to a really slow start last year. I believe, right? It was, and then they all of a sudden come out and are fighting for the playoffs, and that's your team right here. You look at this roster; it is way too good to be this record. You finally get the win on the other side, right? Like you get to like live on the other side of that matchup, that nightmare. And what if your team did this 3 more times? Then it'd be a much different story. And also, I love looking at games after and going, if he didn't have 38.2,
Right.
you might not have won it. He
I
didn't
know.
have 3.7, even like the smaller
Yeah.
outputs there.
Yeah.
But also for your team to put up that kind of score and that win with Bowers getting 3, Lamar getting 18. I like that you pointed that out too, because 18 is not what he should be getting.
Right.
That's huge. It's why I feel pretty okay about my team, because I was able to kind of like get this 125 in an ugly way with Bijan getting 10 points.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
by the same token, I mean, watch out for this team.
I know. The Godfather. We're back. I said it maybe 3 weeks ago I was going to make playoffs. I really feel it. I still do. I just look at this team. I'm like, I just needed that win. That would have destroyed me. Definitely, I don't think it would have been possible. Made it a lot harder to make playoffs if I lost this. And again, bringing up the trade, I would have. And I did the math with Tet and Marks, and he did start both of them, Woody Marks and Tet. Versus the Henderson crazy game and the Flowers, just a kind of a normal average 12-point game. And I would have finished with 139 points. So I would have lost this by 12 points if I never made that trade, and if that never happened. So really things are looking up. I think I look at that and say that there's a reason this happened. And I do have a quote from JR. So he wasn't super happy. Super happy, but he said, I hope I do not have to play you the rest of the year. And I don't believe he does. He said, you have a scary team. So I think I agree. And I'm excited to see what happens going forward. But just looking at this, and then what about Gang Green before we move off of the matchup? I mean, he's scored. It almost happened to me again, where he scored the second most points in the entire week and lost. Just unbelievable. And I could have sworn that was going to happen to me again. I just knew I was going to lose that. And I was going to be, again, the second highest scorer losing. And that was Gang Green against myself, who was the first number one highest scorer for the week. So what do you think about Gang Green going forward and being 7-3 and fourth place overall?
Kind of a hot take, maybe. And this isn't to like pour salt in the wound, but he had a pretty bad game. Like, and that is like maybe a little harsh, but as a manager, I'm sure he would even feel that way, right? Jordan Love, 7 points.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnston, 9 points. Dalton Kincaid, 5 points, 13 points, like 10 points for his tight end, his main tight end. Alvin Kamara, 14 points. Like, that's not what you're looking for from that running back. Give me like at least 15 or 16 or something.
Yeah.
If Jonathan Taylor has a normal game, and he has, let's even say a great game for Jonathan Taylor, 25 or something. You're talking about 24 points off of that, and he's sitting at more like where I'm at with 120s, right? And I think, do I think he can then fix it? Yeah, I think Jordan Love will play better. I think, I don't know about Kamara, man, but I think Laporta will play better. Kincaid will play better because Josh Allen will play better, right? Like, I think he'll be fine. Drake London has been so good this year, and it's so fun to watch because we've been waiting for this for years, I feel like. But I would just say it's a bad game. Did not have a good game.
Yeah, and still was able to score the 150 because of JT. So I agree. All right. So with that being said, let's look at some of the trades recently. Q has been a hawk on the trades, trying to get something moving, trying to get something going. And what I want to do is a quick brief. Some of the trades have been in place longer, others just this week. Give it a trade grade. So let's do trade grades for these, and then let's do it on. Let's just say on Q's side. So Q's making all these trades, so he's the one actively doing this. So let's give him a grade on his side for each of these. So for the first one, Brian Thomas Jr., who really hasn't done anything. Stefon Diggs, I think the same, and then Kenneth Walker, I think the same. So what is your grade for Groovy Q getting BTJ for Stefon Diggs and Kenneth Walker?
All right, I just have to make like one qualification here. So are we grading it based on how it has turned out, or the initial like going for the trade?
How it has turned out, but also valuing what could happen over the next 4 weeks.
Okay, gotcha. That trade's like a solid D And I'm not saying an F because like that still gets me. That's just a bummer. That whole trade. Like I don't think Brady Gaga's feeling great about it.
No, I don't
Like,
either.
but BTJ just is killer this year. Travis Hunter is out for the year. I don't know if you saw that, but like
Yep,
done.
I saw it.
Like not even IR anymore, just done. Jacoby Myers comes over, and I'm saying all these other things too because they kind of factor in, right? Like
Yeah, they do.
Parker Washington is now the number one.
Yeah, yeah.
It just is such a bummer. He had the most exciting rookie year, the most like special, strong, powerful rookie
You had
year.
him.
And I mean, I loved this guy. Now it just is like really painful to watch. Who knows why? That trade to me is like a solid D. I don't know that I would have done that in the first place because Diggs will have decent games.
Yeah, yeah.
Kenneth Walker, I don't know what yeah.
The whole thing has been pretty washed out, but that was the first one that kind of got everything going. And then there was two prior to last week, prior to week 10, during that week, which the first one was with DeChampus here. No, we did talk about this, right? We did. Yeah, we went over this one. So after a week or two, Josh Allen and Zay Flowers went to Groovy Q just for 1 week. And then Bo Nix and Justin Jefferson went to DeChamp. So from Groovy Q, again, getting Zay Flowers, getting Josh Allen, what grade do you give him on that, giving away Bo Nix and Justin Jefferson?
This one's much different. Now it's a little bit tricky, right? Because he gave away Zay Flowers after that.
Yeah, it is a little weird.
I mean, even like valuing that as trade bait or trade pieces. This is a B plus.
Okay.
And here's why I'm saying this. More so because of how poorly Bo Nix and Justin Jefferson played.
I know. And Josh Allen, right? Did he finish okay or did he
finish with 24 somehow.
Oh, okay. Because somehow it looked awful. It looked so bad.
Yeah, but he put up 2 late touchdowns, I want to say, at least one. And he will not do if his floor is 24.
I know.
This is trade of the year, and there's only 3 to pick from, right? But I'm liking it, and I think it's going to only get better and better. The thing is, Bo Nix and Justin Jefferson will probably have better games. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be every game, but man, he's looking good right now. The Q with that trade.
Yeah. And then the next day after this goes through, he turns Zay Flowers into a trade with Henderson, Travion Henderson, to myself for Tet and Woody Marks. So again, grade it on Q's side. We've only seen 1 week after this. It doesn't mean that's going to happen for the next 4 weeks, but Zay Flowers and Travion Henderson go to me. And he gets Woody Marks and Tet McMillan. What do you think about that trade?
I think it's a solid trade. I want to give you a little bit of background because at 9:37 p.m. on when was this?
Probably the day before.
I think it was, yes, because he answered the next day. I'm showing times. Yeah, on Wednesday, right? And then Thursday at 11:22 a.m. The time does matter. My people reached out to Q's people. I had noticed that he was maybe willing to shop Henderson. I said, I'll take him off your hands. Who are you interested in? And he said, sorry, there's nothing I liked. Appreciate the honesty. And I said, all right, no problem. And then he puts on top of that, you can ask Vin for him now, though.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. So I was like, no way. Did he just move again the day after he made another trade?
I know.
But I love it. I think it's a really solid trade. I think getting Woody Marks for him was a major upgrade in his estimation because Henderson had done pretty much nothing.
Why is he playing well now? Did something happen in the backfield where he has more touches or more volume?
Henderson?
Was there injury? Yeah.
Yeah, Ramondre went out for 2 games.
So was that just a mistake on Q's part, or is it just like this is just going to be temporary?
I think so. I don't think it was a mistake. I think it was, this is temporary. Ramondre's coming back. Henderson has done like almost nothing all year.
I know. He's
right?
fumbling,
fumbling, exactly. Not playing, not getting snaps. Marks has shown a lot of promise. So I think for him, that was like a major upgrade. And then
is that an upgrade to you for Zay?
I think it's a slight downgrade because Zay has Lamar and a really great team. Tet could just be up and down with his team and his quarterback, even though they're playing like pretty well.
Yeah.
So this is like this is another for me, another B plus. I struggle to I hesitate to say any A's because that's hard to get.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a nice B plus here for Q.
Yeah, I might look at him on my end as an A, and not just because after the first week and Henderson went off, he's not going to have that every week. But I like the Zay Flowers stack with Lamar. Maybe get a little bit more correlation there. They are starting to win. Like they're on a 3-game winning streak too with Lamar. They're trying to make the playoffs. Their division, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's not like the greatest. So like I think they're a favorite to win the division right now at 4-6 or whatever they are.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. And they play 17 weeks and fantasy's less than that. But the idea is that they're going for it. And so they are playing hard, they're playing well, and to have Zay Flowers as well, I'm happy about that. I have a lot of places I was really high on him. He hasn't really shaped out exactly how I was hoping. So I was okay to move on with him, but I like to trade. I really do. So interesting to see. I love Groovy Q out there being active, trying to make some things happen. But hopefully that was beneficial to myself for that most recent trade, and for him too. Maybe he gets a couple more wins before the end of the regular season. But I don't know. 3-7. What's the best you can go? 7-7. Yeah, it'll be tough. It's going to be tough for those teams. It's still going to be tough for us. Even the 4-6 to champ myself and Coyotes. It's going to be tough to see what happens there as we head into the playoffs. So one real quick thing too, before with no segue needed, I'm going to announce the Survivor. So again, we had 5 left in Survivor, and then week 10 happened. Unfortunately, Groovy Q, who's hanging on to a thread and was still alive, has been eliminated with 104 points. So of course we bring it up in the group chat saying, how is this guy still alive? How is it? And then he sends a funny GIF or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that week was the week he went down. I think there was only one other team that scored less than him, which was Brady Gaga, but he was already out. And Groovy Q has been eliminated. So I will make a quick update for you guys here. 4 teams remain. There is no immunity any longer. Gangrene with 151 points would have earned immunity, but with 4 left in week 11, there's no more immunity. So we have Uncle Buck, DeChamp, Gangrene, and Coyotes. So we got Sean, Joe, JR, and Kyle. So very interesting Final Four. What's your take on the Final Four Survivor, and who do you think is going to win out of these Final Four?
If I had to take a guess, I would probably say it was these 4 with the exception of Coyotes.
Yeah, true.
I could definitely see it being DeChamp and Uncle Buck. Coyotes, and then who? Sorry, Gangrene?
Yeah, Gangrene and Coyotes, yeah.
Yeah, I think those 3 make a whole lot of sense. I think you look at other teams in the league and like you put up some big points early in the year. I've put up some really big games here. So there's other teams that have done. I think Jet Up even had some massive boom weeks. But these 3 make sense. Coyotes, hey, fight for it, man. Just keep going. And then in the meantime, get some wins there. I'm just gonna go with Uncle Buck. I'm not gonna try to get cute here.
Yeah, I got it too. I mean, who else would? I feel like DeChamp is going to lose that at any point. What did he score last week? 114. Gangrene again had a big week. Coyotes kind of, where was he? 109. So he only wasn't eliminated because Q was still alive. So yeah. That's interesting. I think it's going to come down to Buck and Gangrene. I'm going to call it right now. Buck and Gangrene. I mean, JT and Gangrene's team, I think they can score pretty consistently. So I'm going to say those 2 teams are going to be left, and then maybe most likely Uncle Buck will win that. But pretty interesting to see our Survivor down to the 4 final teams.
Yeah, I think at one point in the year it would have been DeChamp, but I mean you're right. He's really gone on a skid these last few games. Also, he stayed alive because of a Josh Jacobs touchdown, pretty much, right?
Okay.
I can't remember what he had right before that, but Jacobs went on, he scored a few points in a row and then ended it with a touchdown. I think he potentially would have been eliminated.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that could be true. That could be true. So let's go there real quick. One of my questions and one of the conversations that I want to have today, and again, there's no offense, and we're just being objective, but the Champus here has this very low optimal lineup equity that I want to look at for power rankings, and very high points and very high optimal points, but very low equity. So it just makes me think like, is he making mistakes or this is just bad luck? So let's look over this real quick. And we have again Bo Nix and Justin Jefferson, who brought over, didn't have a good first game, but that's still in the future they could have that. Jamison Williams played well, but again, only 114 points. So I look at the bench and I see Wandell Robinson, Baker Mayfield had 28, Theo Johnson. You're never going to start that. And then last week we saw a couple things like that too. I forget who it was, but do you think he's inside of his own head, like all of us have been, where it's like, oh, do I play him? Do I get cute? Is he making mistakes, or is he just getting unlucky with starting the two guys he just traded for, and they put up duds and so on and so forth? I just mean, like, is his team better than he is managing them, or is he managing them at the best of his ability?
I think benefit of the doubt here. I think he's got a lot of good players, and like you've said, that'll always be the thorn for anybody who has low equity.
Right.
That it likely means they have a lot of good players. And
Yep.
I think this is that case here. I do think we need to point out something kind of interesting about the trade that went down, because he also had Baker Mayfield on his bench. But
Right.
maybe that's why he really wanted to get Jefferson, let's say, and he thought he may have to give up Josh Allen because he also feels safe with Baker on his bench. Maybe.
Yeah.
Um, you're going to make mistakes when you have, first of all, you have Scatterboo in the beginning of the season, right before he gets injured. So now you have to decide if you're playing him or Cook or Josh Jacobs or Williams or people like that. That's could be some hard decisions. Monangai has been playing a lot better lately,
and he sat him again. I mean, he didn't have a lot. He had one rushing touchdown for 28 yards, so 8 points. But yeah, he sat him again. And that's an interesting play.
Yeah. So you're not, other than Baker, compared to Bo Nix this week, you're not seeing anybody on his bench that is like, oh wow, that you definitely should have started them. But is it a little safer to start Wandale than it is Debo? I mean, Debo scored 0.7 more, so maybe not. Jamison Williams, he got right this week. I think in the past, like, he's been very hard to start. So my firm answer here is no, he's not. It's not like a managerial error.
Yeah, right.
I think he's got a lot of players to choose from.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it like Jamison Williams and Debo. You're not going to start Monangai over them, and
probably not.
I get that. Bo Nix you just get, so it's going to be hard to start Baker over him. But he was playing Las Vegas. Bo Nix was, so maybe that's why he went with them. Who did
totally?
Baker played New England. Yeah. So it's just something that crossed my mind. As we look at the champ, and he continues to lose, which I think he's on a 4-game losing streak. So very odd. Went 4-2 and is now 4-6. So something just strikes me as like something going on here. And then as we're on this matchup, let's look at Jet-Up as well. Yeah. And he pulls off another win. And I'm like, again, we like Jet-Up. I never loved his team, but I'm like, how is this guy 7-3? How is he 7-3, and what does his team look like? So with the team up, and as we're looking at it, what do you think about Jet-Up with 4 games left in the regular season at 7-3? Does he have a chance to push for a bye, or is he just going to chill and get into the playoffs? What do you think about his chances?
I may still be under the spell of early season DeChamp to think that, like, Jet-Up should have lost this game, but he probably should have lost this game. Like, he had 0 with Garrett Wilson. That there.
Wow.
Right? Like, alone.
I think he's out for a little bit too, isn't he?
And he's probably going to be out for a little bit. Yep, exactly. He had a similar thing to Jonathan Taylor where Devon Achane had 40 points for him, so that definitely boosted his score. If Achane has a normal 20-point game, I mean, you're looking at a 100-point game for Jet-Up. And I do think it's important to factor that in. Like, these players are good. They're helping you win, of course, but they're not going to score 40 and 49 every week.
No.
And so you have to just be like, all right, what could it look like next week? Achane could still have a good game, and he would have lost. I do really think Jet-Up should have lost here. And I think, I don't know, but we keep saying this, right? We're like, I'm not feeling Jet Up. And then he wins and he wins
Every
and he
time.
wins.
He has H-Chan, which we love. We love.
Oh, we love that guy. Yeah, yeah. 3 years now, too. I think I do. I'm so sorry, Shane. I just think this can't last. It can't last.
Yeah, I agree. And I think because he's 7-3, it will last to the point of him making playoffs. Like I think that will happen.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
But the strength of the team, yeah, I agree. So interesting there. What did I want to look at real quick? The rest of the season too. Again, now we're talking about having 4 games left. So something I wanted to look at is just let's look at your upcoming schedule. I know we said it's coming up to death row. So you have a somewhat easy matchup, and then the last 3 games, that's what it was. Gangrene, Uncle Buck, and DeChamp. Gangrene and Uncle Buck is hard, and then Pack Attack and DeChamp maybe is a little bit softer, but what do you think you go for the next 4 games heading into the playoffs?
I'm gonna my safe guess is gonna be a nice 2-2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And just kind of be boring with it and say I finished 9-5. 9-5 is a heck of a record. Like that's I'll take that.
Do you get a bye if you finish 9-5?
No, because two of the teams that would have had to beat me, I would say, with Uncle Buck and Gangrene, are above me.
Yeah.
Are the 2 teams above me, right? So.
Yep. 2-2. I agree with that. Let's look at mine real quick. I have Uncle Buck, which is he's been really strong. DeChamp, Jet Up, and Ladies. So not the hardest of schedules after Uncle Buck. So I get DeChamp, Jet Up, and Ladies. I'm hoping to go 3-1 or 4-0. I mean, there's really no other. If I'm going to make that 6th spot, it's going to have to be one of those. For sure. So hoping I go 3-1 or 4-0. If I go 2-2, I just don't think I can make it into there.
Hard. Yeah,
really hard.
I'm trying to look at your lineup to see like any big buys coming up. I think you're pretty safe.
Yeah. My Lamar and Zay that already happened. I don't have to worry about that. So yeah.
I you know what? If you can somehow for all of us beat Uncle Buck this week.
What is he at? Let me see. Is he's on like a 5-game winning streak or something too? I forget where it is. Oh, the standings. 4-game winning streak for Uncle Buck. He was 4-2, and now 4 games later is 8-2. Giants and Cowboys suck. He's on a 3-game winning streak. Was 5-2, is now 8-2. And let's look at him too. That was somebody else I wanted to look at again with 4 games left. We got Jet Up, Brady Gaga, Ladies, and Pack Attack. Come on.
It's not cool.
That's the softest schedule I've ever seen. Need some baby powder on that. My goodness.
I mean, Jet Up is like, hey, wait a second here. Like, not so soft.
Yeah. But okay, not super soft. Brady Gaga, Ladies, and Pack Attack. I bet he might win if you added those 3 team scores combined. I'm kidding. No. Oh, that's annoying though, because he's got a shot at the bye, right?
Well, I mean, you're correct, because these 3 teams have shown they can really put up a clunker. So he's very lucky here. Does Jet Up's luck, or just Jet Up's like streak, start to run out this next week? Maybe he gets him there, but he could absolutely go 4-0 to finish the season here.
Yeah, it does. It does seem that way.
Look at this. He started week 1, Brady Gaga. Week 2, Ladies Love G-Man. Week 3, Pack Attack.
Okay.
And he's ending the same exact way.
Damn. Yeah, that's pretty lucky for him.
So,
pretty good. All right, so another top team is Uncle Buck. Let's see his last 4 games. The Godfather, myself, Groovy Q, Benz, and Coyotes. So I would say in the middle of the road right there. You got myself putting up a lot of points. Benz in the top 3 for basically all year. Coyotes has been putting up some points, and then Groovy Q might be a little softer, but that's his last 4 games of the season. For Uncle Buck too. What do you think? He just sweeps there? Does he lose 1 or possibly 2?
I mean, come on. He loses 2. 1 to you, 1 to me. He beats Groovy Q and Coyotes. Let's get him down like somehow, and let's get some wins for ourselves. That's the hope.
Yeah, I agree. Last 2 teams I want to do is Jet Up. We just talked about Giants and Cowboys suck. Ladies, myself, and Groovy Q. Again, middle of the road, maybe two tough ones, two easy ones. And then the last one is Gangrene. There it is. Gangrene is Groovy Q, Benz, Coyotes, and Brady Gaga. Maybe a little on the softer side other than Benz and Coyotes. So it doesn't look like anybody other than Giants and Cowboys. Of course, Matt, you got to walk in the park. You're going to win every single game by 20 plus points. I'll put money on it right now today. But other than that, it looks like pretty middle of the road, kind of even across the board with the final 4 weeks. I wanted to do that exercise quick because I'm like, we got only 4 weeks to go. We got 4 teams to think about, and we are then at playoffs. So just crazy to think about how far we are and what we have in front of us. So how you feeling, heading into that playoff picture?
Well, I love that we just did that. I think, if the committee is looking at our teams for strength of schedule here, it's definitely going to be me. Having to make it through just the juggernaut of the end of the season here with those 3 teams that I have to face. And it's no disrespect to Pack Attack, because Pack Attack he just beat Q last week. So you never know what could happen here. But to end with those 3 teams, that's going to be really tough. I think if Bijan starts playing normally, now I'm up to 140, right? Instead of 124 or something like that. So I think I'm okay. I'm just kind of holding my breath a little bit.
You gotta still shoot for the buys too. The top 2 spots get a buy, and those are very, very valuable as we get closer to the playoff picture. Power rankings, I pulled that up real quick. Not a lot of changes other than the Godfather, because of a big 150 point win, moves up to the 3rd spot behind Uncle Buck and DeChamp. So it's funny, you got Uncle Buck number 1, DeChamp and Godfather number 2 and 3, who are both fighting for a 6th playoff spot because of our record. So very interesting there. DeChamp is still number 2 overall in points, still number 2 in optimal points. Benz is 3 in total points, 3 in optimal points, just has a lower equity, which is why he's in 4th place. And then the Godfather moved up into 3rd place, 4th total, and 7th in optimal. So interesting to see the top 4 there. Then you got Giants and Cowboys, Gangrene, Ladies, and then the rest of the league. Anything that stands out to you on the power rankings for the top 4, or what you think it means going forward for the last 4 weeks?
Remind me where you last were.
I want to say 6 or 7. Yeah, I want to say 6th or 7th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely something to note, is that all season we've talked about you're a better team than your record is,
right?
And it would be really bad if at the end of the season it was like, nah, he was just a bad team. Look at that. The power rankings, they matter, they mean something, and you're up to 3rd there. Just an insanely impressive run by Uncle Buck to stay up at number 1. He did dip in equity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he went to 2nd overall in equity with Pack Attack,
up from 3 to 1.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. But like you said last week, maybe it's not so awesome. But
right.
That's what I'm looking at. Right, Godfather taking 3rd from me there. Giants and Cowboys pretty much the same. Gangrene pretty much the same. Ladies, unfortunately, takes a little bit of a slide there down the hill of these power rankings, but otherwise pretty much right where you would kind of expect.
Yeah. Other than DeChamp and Godfather just fighting for the playoffs, being 2nd and 3rd, but everybody else is pretty solid. Yeah. What were we gonna say?
What do you think about Gangrene sitting at 6th in
it's interesting,
rankings?
Right? Yeah. 4th optimal points, 6 overall, but getting a ton of wins. I mean, he's 7 and 3 after his most recent loss. He's actually 11th in equity. So I don't know if that's a good thing where it's like he has a lot of good players that are blowing up on his bench, or is like a manager thing where he's not starting the right player. So that's something he has to figure out. But yeah, that's interesting how he's right in the middle there. And I think he's probably one of the definite playoff teams. So interesting to see what they'll do there. And that's been the case all year. I mean, these top 5 teams, I mean, they have not budged. And DeChamp, ultimately, we still have the same 6 that I talked about, right? So even though we've been talking about this bubble and saying, like, it's still the same 6 teams, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So even though, and I think Champ will fall out of there, I will take that spot, and then at that point it would have changed. But since we have talked, maybe it was like, I don't know what it was, week 3, 4, 5, something around there, even before the way too early playoff bracket. One of the calls was, hey, these 6 teams are the teams making playoffs. That might not be the case because of the Godfather, but we will see. We'll see. But yeah, so power rankings up here. I'll send that out. Not much change. The Champ is number 1 in the upside model, again, because of his equity and possible mistakes, but maybe it's just bad luck. And then number 2 is Ben's, and you've been up in that number 1, 2 the whole time, again, because of that equity. But number 3 in points and number 3 in optimal points. I mean, when's the last time you've been like top 3 in points overall in the Jersey Crew? I mean, it's been a while, I feel like.
Yeah. Even when I was winning or getting into the playoffs, with the exception of 1 or 2 years that I can remember, it was low points. It feels really good because, like I always say, like you got to fall back on those as the season progresses, and they really, really make a huge difference. I mean, not to be like obvious, but like truly, you get up in the top of the scoring, and it's so helpful.
Yep. Last couple things before we head out. We got the matchups. We talked about most of them. Giants and Cowboys. Suck did get another win, so he got a win there. Pack Attack got a win. He hasn't got a win in a while. And then Sean got a win that we kind of expected over ladies. And then heading into week 11, the game of the week I'm choosing is going to be the Godfather versus Uncle Buck. It's got to come to this. This is where it separates from a reality or fantasy when it comes to playoffs, and taking down number 1 overall by 20 points. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to win by 20 points. Okay. That is the record. That is on the record right now. It is going down. I don't know who he's got, who he doesn't got. I hope, hopefully Mahomes is in there. I don't care. I don't care. 20 points. So what do you think about the game of the week? And then your game? I mean, you're playing the Pack Attack. What do you think about those 2 games for week 11?
Real quick for mine, I have to figure out some of my second wide receiver, my second flex type of player, because I'm just running low. I've got a lot of injuries going. It's just really hitting me. And thankfully I'm able to win still, like last week, but I need to figure something out big time. Probably text Q, see if he'll make a trade with me. Or like I said, let's keep passing around Zay Flowers. I'll take him next.
No.
So I feel pretty solid about mine. Yours is pretty wild that you just said you'd win by 20.
That's my call.
I love it. Bring it. As you go through the matchups here, he's got you with Puka, he's got you with Christian McCaffrey, but like not really, because then you just match him up with Jahmyr Gibbs. You're pretty equal there.
Yeah.
You've got him with tight end. You've got him with flex. You've got him with both flexes, like easily. Let's see his bench. Olave's out, so that's great for you.
Okay, I'll take that.
Maybe that's it. That's it. I mean, if he's wise, he won't make any substitutions. So to win by 20, that's a hot take.
I'm open.
Or a bold take, I should say.
I'm open. I've been making bold takes. I was kind of joking in the beginning, saying I was going to make playoffs, and now I am. So I'm just going to manifest it and just say it. And just let it come true. I think we're going to win by 20. I think you're going to win by 20 plus. And then the game of the week that Yahoo's choosing, and maybe we'll make our prediction here, is Giants and Cowboys versus Jetta. I don't know if they have their lineup set, but 5th place versus the 2nd place in Giants and Cowboys. What do you think about Matt versus Shane, and who's going to win that battle?
Yeah, Shane will get some players back here from bye, and then he'll get some players in for those on bye, and so it'll look much better than 100 to 130, but that 130 that's a solid projection for him. Trey McBride's been killing it. Matthew Stafford, I think like 4 of his last games he's had 4 touchdowns each.
Yeah.
This is so tough, but I'm going to stick with what I said earlier. Not that I want Matt to keep winning necessarily.
I know.
We do need some shaking up of these 7 and 3s and
8 and 2s
and 8 and 2s, and so. They're both 7 and 3, or no, 8 and 2 versus 7 and 3, right?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I do think Matt wins here, and Jetta finally kind of starts coming back down to earth, maybe.
Yep. I agree. Which is probably the first time Matt will lose, since we both agree that he should win.
Yeah,
But I do agree with that as well. Week 11, just unbelievable. 4 games left on our fantasy football season for the Jersey Crew. 4 games left for our other fantasy leagues and other pools that we're in. So it is getting down to the home stretch. It is getting down to that Thanksgiving self-assessment to say, are we happy when we eat turkey? If we're not, then we're not having a good year in fantasy, right? And when we're opening our presents, are we sweating a championship game or multiple? I mean, what's your I know you said you could make 4 and looking at the pots and everything, but what's your minimum expectation at week 10, post week 10, of how many championships you want to make out of your 4 leagues?
2 for sure. And if I'm like a little bit, ambitious, I would say 3.
Okay.
And I think that would be Jersey Crew. Again, this is ambitious, but it'd be Jersey Crew and then the 2 leagues. Like, being in first place feels really good. And I'm in first place by 2 full games.
Do those 2 leagues you're in first place, do you get buys for those leagues too?
I have to look, actually, because
Okay.
they're ESPN, so I hate going in.
Yeah,
ESPN is just like so ugly to me. But
Yeah.
I have to go and look at the settings there. I think it's really possible. It's going to be hard to take me down in that league.
Let's do it. That would be so much fun if I'm in a couple championships, you're in a couple championships, we're facing off in the Jersey Crew 20th anniversary championship. I'm making the semis. That's what I'm saying. It's just happening.
Every week it gets one round further.
Whoa, well, we only have 4 weeks left, so it's going to be a fun one. Have fun out there. Hopefully you win another one in Jersey Crew and you keep winning in fantasy. Good luck, Ben.
Yeah, good luck to you too, and good luck to everybody else. Keep fighting.
Let's go.